I'm Jeff Gordon, and you're watching Racing America.
Well, indeed, we are back this time on a hump day edition of everybody's favorite sports talk racing show. Indeed, the show that started it all. Showtime Bobby Chaffee right here. I'm the one yapping now. Rodney Rodriguez, the Iceman, he's on the left side of your screen. So, partner, I can tell that you finally have internet back this week because, well, you're online now.
Yeah, you know, that really sucked last week, and the whole thing about it was that's why we missed the show, because there was some Google Fiber is here now. AT&T Fiber came into our area, and I, what do they call it? Hook, bait, and sinker. I took it and went that route, but Google Fiber was out here doing stuff and hit the AT&T lines, and dude, I was like going out of town the next morning. So that was I left. And I got a notification. I was going to send it to you. I got a notification. It was like 10 a.m. the next day, and it said, your internet has been restored. I'm like, it works great here at the hotel in Uvalde.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, man, man, you can't live without this shit. Isn't that a shame? I tell you, man, it's like we can't do anything without the damn internet nowadays.
Well, it is what it is. It is a necessary evil nowadays. I'm just glad we didn't. The internet's one thing, but I'm just glad we didn't have all of the applications, your TikToks and your Instagrams and all that good shit that would record the dumb shit that we did back in the day, because we never did the dumb shit like the kids today do.
Yeah, you know, that's a weird thing where I think about in the past, where it's like, man, if we'd had social media back in those days and been so reliant on having a computer in my pocket all the time to just pull it out and take pictures, I probably wouldn't be here. I'd either be dead or in jail with some of the stuff that I've done. And it's unfortunate, but hey, man, that was the thing about COVID-19, man. I think where it changed everything. It changed the way we do this show. It changed the way most people do their programming nowadays, to where it was like, you can do damn near anything with the power of the World Wide Web.
Well, it's funny how all these radio shows, even our main friends, or even our good buddy Craig Way finally has a camera inside his studio, to where he's filming the himself talking. He's got the picture, obviously, of the people calling into the radio show. But yeah, I mean, even talk shows over the course of the wild, our buddies at Sirius XM over there, the Morning Drive, they have their stuff broadcasting on Tubi now. Yeah. So it's like I texted you before, the medium that is radio, that has a special feel, is probably what we say 90% now video along with the audio, where you get a taste of it both different ways, whether it be regular audio and or video now, as the case may be, for 3/4 of our audience.
Yeah, you don't really, and the thing about it is, when you think about it, and this is, I've talked to a lot of people about this, and this is a whole thing where we talk about like with streaming with racing, is it just really broadens the audience so much, because you don't have to be in a specific location. I mean, you can intake this stuff from anywhere, and that's like with talk shows and so forth, is you were very restricted by whatever the transmitter was going to do for you, and the reach, and your reach was very local. But now with digital, I mean, I look at the stats on this show, and we got people watching from, I don't even know where some of these places are. I mean, it may be bots or whatever, but the fact that somebody's plugging into it, it's a pretty big deal. So it's definitely changed, and it was never more evident than last Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever it was, to where it's like you lose that, and all I had was the phone. All I had was the phone that I could work. Couldn't watch TV, couldn't do shit. So yeah, that's.
And your phone started running slow because everybody in the neighborhood's on the AT&T phones. That's what happened here a couple of weeks ago.
Absolutely. So that's it's one of those things. But I'm glad everything is up and rolling today. And here we are once again on a Wednesday, getting ready to talk some racing on a busy weekend.
Lots of stuff happening both on local and national. Last weekend, and then of course this weekend is jam-packed. You got the IMCA Super Nationals there in Boone. Got some good representation from our friends in Texas. Our buddy Johnny Torres, South Texas Sweet Tea, finished second in one of his heat races, so he qualified into the main qualifier earlier today, so that was good news. He's running both his stock car and his IMCA modified, so best of luck to Johnny. There's a couple guys going. Stephen Whitaker Jr. is going from South Texas. That's a hell of a long way from Corpus to Boone. And then you got various other guys. I think Cody Leonard's up there. He ran at Marshalltown a couple of weeks ago, or I guess last week, and now he's running in Boone. So there's some Texas representation for us. Obviously, if your guys in your neck of the woods are running in the Nationals, give us a shout out or give them a shout out on the post and stuff. But yeah, lots of stuff going on. Locally, I'm actually missing the race this weekend with Texana and the sprint cars. I got this little football game to go to down in San Antonio with the I-35 rivalry coming to town. So there'll be about hopefully about 55,000 people in the dome there to have a really, really good time.
And something has definitely changed since the last time that we were on the show, because I'm watching numbers and watch analytics and everything as we're doing the show here on the back end, and I see the number of viewers, and then I click over to X, and it's like, okay, that don't match, so whatever. but we are streaming everywhere we're supposed to be.
Yeah,
so,
my X just restarted. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, X kind of blowing it pretty good there with a nice amount of viewership there. So thank you all for checking in on the X. And if you're on the Racing America X page, you can actually drop a message there, a live thing as we're going with the topics that we're talking about, or if you have a topic, and we can check that as well. And of course, if you're on Facebook or YouTube, any of those, you can do the same. And YouTube is blowing and going as well. But for the same reason there, we're not seeing the numbers there. But as long as we're there, that's the main thing that counts. I'd actually forgotten about, because I talked to some dirt track people, and they're like, Boone, you going to Boone? I'm like, no, I'm not going to Boone. I'm staying home this weekend. I've got some football duty. Going back to work on Friday night. Going back home to do some high school football. Not actually back home, but back to high school football coverage. And then of course we have Saturday stuff, early contests there for the Fighting Texas Longhorns, 0-1 Texas Longhorns. But yeah, it's Boone, and I'm like, Boone my ass, the World 100. It's like, dude, that's the one thing that I've really gravitated over to, where I absolutely love the dirt late models. And I think I saw 79. I think I saw 79 on tap as of when's Tuesday? When was Tuesday? Oh, yesterday. So you've got that going right there. So yeah, it's a couple of big ones right there. Bobby Pierce looking to defend that championship, and it's a who's who there. Just kind of taking a look here. Let me see where I've got it over here. Bobby, the number one name on the list when it pops up, car number 0, Bailey Curry.
I saw that. Yeah.
Bailey Curry, Tyler Erb. I mean, the list goes on and on and on of dirt track late model stars and dirt track late model controversies and so forth. And here we go, going to Eldora. That ought to be a fun one.
That should be a lot of fun. Eldora and late models, it just goes good together. Their 50-50 sales are unbelievable, up in like the 5 digits there, mid to low 5 digits.
Yeah. And here, I mean, this is so weird. I mean, we actually can never get messages from Twitter. And Jude Fernandez checking in right here and says it buffered for a bit, and it buffered because I kind of clicked it. I clicked it on and then back off again. So that's what that was. But Jude, thank you for checking. See, technology's crazy. I mean, seriously, and that's great, because we could never get any interaction with X. And if we can get X, because honestly, that's where the big numbers are. I mean, everybody's on X. That's like the news, right? Remember when it was like our parents would say, let's watch the world news. I watch the world news all day on X.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that shit I don't want to see. But a lot of it
you'll have to buzz through our new banner. Our scroller has some new information on it compared to last week. So,
oh, that does too.
Mm-hmm.
The one across the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she's rolling. She is rolling right there. So let's take a look. I'll kind of keep an eye on that. Friends, speaking of the banner and speaking of the thing up in the top corner right there, on the above my head, you have the little QR code, and that's going to take you right to the Revved Up Sports Show page, where you can get your live programming, you can get your recaps, archive stuff, and then over on the other side, on-demand shirts, the official partner and merchandise provider of the Revved Up Sports Show. And actually tonight we're going to be joined by James Cole. James Cole back on the racetrack. Well, he's been on the racetrack, but James Cole back to victory lane, my man, this weekend at the Outlaw 34.
Did a really good, really good job, man. That was a hell of a race.
Well, driving one of them badass race cars right there. You know, and one of those. I mean, not that his wasn't, but when you jump behind the wheel of one of the race cars that guy prepares, you're gonna do pretty good. I think. Not taking anything away from James, but that's a damn good race car that he was driving this week.
A very emotional win. You could hear him with our friend Jennifer down there at the South Texas Race Ranch.
Yeah, absolutely. And James is really one of those guys, and I know we can kind of preface the conversation that we're going to have with him tonight, because he's not going to tell you everything as I wish he would, but that's really a guy that he really genuinely is about trying to help local racers. When we say that, you know, for your apparel and for the different things that you need to get a hold of on-demand shirts, we truly mean that, because they are very much, and James charters that massive company out there in San Antonio, to where obviously they're in the business to make a profit, to make money, for commerce, but they will help you in all that they can.
Yeah, they do it all. Shirts, hats, they do koozies, all kind of stuff. If you check out our friend, both our show friends, Owen Pittman and Kevin Rogers, both been on the show multiple times. They're actually, speaking of the Nationals, they're up at the IMCA Nationals promoting the Sparkling City Classic that comes up at the middle part of December there in Corpus at the race ranch. So they printed up a lot of stuff for them to hand out and to do different stuff to promote that big race. So yeah, lots of interaction between on-demand shirts and it's not just local racing anymore. They're getting a nationwide reach now. I mean, when they post the videos, if you see some of these different drivers, they're coming from all over. It's not just the South Texas boys anymore that are getting it, and South Texas guys and gals that are getting their stuff done, but they're, you know, getting them all from all over. So that's good news.
Yeah, and they truly do. I mean, lots of different things, and it's not just the racing side or any of that. I mean, quite frankly, I think that more, it seems like what they do on the racing side, because I've toured the facility a couple of different times with James, and I go through there and I see some of the paraphernalia that they're putting together, and, you know, the names on it and so forth, and it's like, you know, we'll play a spot for James later where he kind of mentions whether it's a multi-million-dollar company or you know, Bobby Chaffee Racing. You know, they're going to sit there and do that, and I think that the racing aspect for it, for them, has been more to where they kind of do that whenever, you know, to kind of give back. You know, to give back to the sport. So super cool thing right there that he does.
Yeah, no, awesome. One of the good guys. We talk about a lot of good guys in racing, but definitely one of the best guys and one of the best show supporters we've had the whole length of the show. So we have good times with James Cole. Always a good time to stop and chat, and when you get him to slow down for a minute, he's always busy running around. But you know, when you get him to slow down for a minute, always a good conversation with James Cole.
Yeah. So you mentioned Boone, and I'm not all too familiar with how everything works, but the car count that I saw, 38 modifieds, 42 stock cars, the northern, I guess it's sport mod, 46
sport mod,
47 hobbies. So that was, I guess you can kind of progress yourself throughout the week. I don't know if that's exactly the format, but I know it's definitely one of those huge events to where you have that and the World 100 going on the same week, because these are not 1-day shows, and they're not 2-day shows, and they're not 3-day shows. These things just go on forever.
Yeah, no, they'll be alphabet souping it all week till you get to the finals there on Saturday. So
yeah,
lots of racing. I think it's you know, and you could stream all of it. It was streaming today.
It's on the Flow, today. Right? No.
I think it's
no. That's on IMCA.
IMCA TV. Yeah,
that's IMCA, and the Flow is where you get Flow Kiss My Grits is where you get the World 100. Absolutely. All right, let's go diving in. We were talking about him just a moment ago, and we are super excited. Great partner of the program. And here we are. We have him live. Finally, we had to pin him down. We had to tie him down to get him to come on this program. And like I said, just not only a great friend, but just a great human being, our friend James Cole, On Demand Shirts. How you doing, sir?
And doing well. Very, very much appreciate you guys having me on. And sorry it's taken so long. We've been a little bit busy, to say the least, but wanted to get on here. I know it's been too long.
So James, I mean, we can talk the business, we can talk about all of that stuff later on. Do want to talk about your racing, but primarily I want to talk about your racing. I open up Facebook on Saturday or on Monday, I guess it was, and I see James Cole in Victory Lane at the race ranch. My man, take us through that.
Yeah, it's been kind of an emotional ride, to be honest with you. This coming back to dirt a couple years ago, when kind of Joe Armandilla said, "Hey, come out here and play around and get in his car and just get back into the racing scene," just because I was working 7 days a week. And so as a friend, he kind of drugged me back in, and it's been much harder of a learning curve than I expected from my former racing. It's taken a lot longer to get that first win again on, in this dirt and in limited. And there's just so much talent that people underrate in South Texas for sure. Honestly, the biggest thing that's changed a lot is just our team and like Lawrence Miklicek, especially, and really all the Miklicek family, the Titzmans. I just have a lot of really, really good people around me and helping guide me through what I should be doing, shouldn't be doing, get me comfortable in the car, and just getting that different feel that I kind of needed to, just kind of how we got it with asphalt. And then you just get in a rhythm. And heck, the last 5 races, we haven't finished worse than third. And so we knew it was coming and we were going to different tracks, but really it's a testament to the whole package and everybody that helps us out.
Who knew the flip at Texana would be the thing that flipped your program around literally and figuratively down there. I know when I saw you at Texana, I was like, somebody's like, I saw your car drive by at the end, when I was coming up to turn the lights off and everything off. They're like, yeah, he flipped. I'm like, wait, what? Because I just saw the car on the tow truck going, I didn't even know you flipped. I guess it was talk about that experience, man. Was that your first flip, or did you flip in the late models down at SAS?
No, fortunately I haven't. I had some really bad wrecks at San Antonio and had to go to the hospital for broken bones and stuff, but never a flip. And so I had a lot of firsts this year, I guess you could say. Texana was an interesting track. It's weird because we were actually on the lead lap and running 6th or 7th through that deal, and came to take the white flag. And of course, on the white flag, race on's going right over to the leaders and what's happening and stuff. Well, we went into turn 1 and a lap car just kind of freaked out a little bit, slammed on the brakes and hopped straight up in the lane I was in. And so once we collided just a little bit, it just hit the rut the right way and kind of flipped it over. So fortunately I was okay, just a little bruised up. The car we thought was not as bad as what it turned out to be. It really wasn't bad in terms of the actual chassis or anything like that, just suspension stuff. And so Lawrence was big on, he wanted me to get in his car. He didn't want me to stop racing for a while while they kind of went back through it. And so that's what I started running again. We kind of brought my car back, I think a couple races ago, and there was just some things that still weren't right in it after the heat race. And so after arguing with Lawrence a little bit because I didn't want to kick him out of his ride, he's like, no, I'm having fun crew chiefing. And then he has a lot of his family members, Parker, Nathan, Marcus, they're all kicking butt down there at the ranch. So he likes to kind of help out in every way. And so honestly, ever since we've been in, and it's kind of a running joke that I told him, I don't think that the orange car is ever going to get back right again. It's going to be hard to get me back out of the white car. So it just kind of suits me. It's just been really, really fun.
And you're not going to win. You're not going to win an argument with L87. That's just not going to happen right there with that guy. So you mentioned San Antonio Speedway, and of course with modifieds and so forth. Let's kind of dial it back. I mean, we call it the glory days. That's how we all met. I mean, that's back to those times. Kind of talk about your history with that, man. That was when we had that speed plant. We had Kyle, we had Corpus, and the different places. But you really honed your skills as just a badass asphalt racer. I kind of talk about those days.
Yeah, I feel really, really fortunate. It's funny, you don't realize in the moment that you're in the good days, right? People say that all the time. And as I started to get older and get into my later 30s and early 40s, you start realizing like the late 90s, early 2000s, man, it's really hard to find that match. Well, I'm sure you could find a ton of people, from Rick Racks, like Yomas, that's going to say, hey, well, the 80s, you're never going to get racing back to that time period. And I try to remind myself that of today, even though things are very different today, to just kind of appreciate it and not take for granted the tracks that are open, the places that we can go and support, and just overall in general. And so honestly, the asphalt side of things, once I went over there, I think 99 or 2000, we started at San Antonio, and there's just no place like it. I mean, you guys know that's been there. Anybody that's raced on it, I feel for the kids that are growing up now that will never have that chance. There's just something nostalgic about it. And I think there's probably 10 to 15 tracks across the country that probably have that same type of just there's something about it across the way it races, that just the feel of it across the board. So yeah, we went into modifieds, and then the TAM series started, I think 2001 or two, somewhere around there. So I think we won a modified championship at San Antonio. Then we went into the TAM series and ran there for, I think, 2 or 3 years. And really it was before I kind of started the business, and still kind of had high hopes for, making it somewhere in racing, and a little bit delusional in that way. So wanted to go back to San Antonio and run the late model class, where they had the NASCAR sanctioning points back then, and grassroots level stuff, kind of like the path that Brandon Bentley took. And was real proud of our efforts going through it. We had our first year that we got Rookie of the Year, and came up like 2 points shy of the championship to Larry Bentley, which is another great in its own right. So you can't say, we weren't, we were good there. And then right after that year is kind of when we started getting all the business going and really starting to ramp up. And so I kind of had to back out for a while on that part. But man, those days with the TAM series, going back to that, when we were touring around to Kyle and Houston, Wichita Falls, Corpus, San Antonio, it was just a great group of guys. And some of them I still hang out with today at the dirt track. It's really, really fun. Saw Joey Heineman out of the 34. I hadn't seen him in about a year out of the track, and just a lot of really, really good people that miss seeing and hanging out with. And that's kind of, we all want to win. We all are racing and competitive. At the end of the day, it's the camaraderie and the family that racing is all about. And that's kind of what stuck with me through all this, even though I've had to take 4 or 5 years apart while I'm rebuilding expanding the business or buying out a partner or whatever it may be. It's kind of always brought me back to it. And I still feel the love of the sport, across the board. So.
Yeah, I remember that black late model. You had an orange car at one point, and then you had that badass Ford late model.
Yeah,
there was like 5 of y'all that was running. Y'all kept splitting main events, and y'all were within 10 or 15 points that whole season. I think Jason Smith was down there in the Haviland car. You had Larry there in the 22. You were in the 14. Donnie Hurelka was up there racing, and there was somebody else that was up there in the top 5.
Yeah, Robert Barker was running then too.
Yeah, I mean, it was like you guys were it was like you had to be there live to watch it because it was damn good racing. But when you couldn't make it, you had to flip open the Express News just to see how close the points were that Monday morning. So.
Yeah, it was really cool back then, and especially the late model. There's just something else about that type of class there. And I did get to run a super late model. I think it was USRA at the time, Brandon Bentley's backup car a couple of times. That was a just awesome experience in general across the board. But the San Antonio stuff with those guys, some of those guys are heroes to me. And as you kind of grow up through it, it's really awesome to be able to race against them. It's just something different. That year that we brought that out, that was black, because most of the time I've had orange cars, and they're all 14. And that the reason why we had that Ford was because, and it kind of is a full circle moment for me, but Tom Grothuse actually helped me get in, him and Irvin Brighton. I actually got he gave me a really ridiculous deal to get a chassis from him. I think it was a Hedgecock chassis. And then Irvin Brighton kind of helped me kind of get everything to go in the direction we needed to. And then Mission Auto Parts, Danny Webb and Tom and John Hamilton, they've been like family to me since early 2000s when they hooked up. And I mean, I have so many wins attributed to those guys. And so they were like, let's do a Ford. Nobody does Fords out here that, it's very rare. Tom Grothuse did. And that's why it was perfect that we could get his chassis that was set up for a Ford. But what was cool about the whole thing is going back to the black car and Grothuse is that was my first late model that was kind of getting into that NASCAR feel of stuff. And he was actually there at Corpus in that race with us and came up and congratulated me. And it meant a whole lot to me on the tech pad, just seeing some of the old friends that you didn't even realize sometimes were out there at different times. And it was just a really cool experience.
Yeah. James, I don't know if you follow the Cars Tour at all, but like with the late model stocks, those kind of resemble, they race and they sound a lot like you guys with the NASCAR late models. I think that's why I have such a infatuation with that series, is watching the late model stocks. I'm like, man, that's a San Antonio late model right there. I mean, that's really has that same kind of feel to me.
Absolutely. I mean, it really comes back to the sadness of Houston is the closest place that we can go to an asphalt track, right? Which I'm blessed that we have that place. Don't get me wrong. But man, if there's more asphalt tracks like there were before, I would love to get back in the late model to that degree, that what they're doing out there. And I think Junior's Bond and several other big hitters that I think it's phenomenal trying to build that back up on a grassroots level to a degree, and that just to keep filtering it through, because I think it's so important and we lost some of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy to think that and we try to support Houston as much as we can, just because it's the lone wolf. It's the last one, and Owen does a really good job down there trying to make sure to keep that place open. Don't know why Carcal can't be where it could be, but that's another discussion for another show.
Yeah.
Speaking of discussions, so tell us about On-Demand Shirts. We talk about you all the time on this show. Clearly, you can tell by Rodney's shirt. I got my new merch in that you helped me with. And but tell it from the ownership side. Tell us about On-Demand Shirts, man.
And I want to say, I know that you're working because I recognize that room.
yeah. Unfortunately, that's correct. I mean, honestly, we kind of have a contract side and the on-demand shirt side, and on-demand shirts kind of created. I've said this a little bit. I really should push the story a little bit harder, but we've just been so crazy busy. But I really want to get back to the racing side. So the on-demand shirt side, majority of the profits are going back to a track, is going back to a series, going back to a racer. We're really trying to support that side of it because we know it's really kind of hurting down south, and we don't want that to die and go away. So that's kind of what built off of that side. People don't realize that we've been screen printing and embroidering for 20 plus years and do a lot of corporate work for a lot of business. That's probably most of it. But you were saying earlier, Bobby, that we're getting a lot more traction nationwide with the racing stuff. And it's really true. I didn't realize how much it's kind of how we built the business to begin with, was word of mouth. And the more people are seeing kind of the product, how it comes to you, just honestly, just that we care. I mean, I have a phenomenal group of people that we've worked really, really hard to put together over the years. I mean, my VP has been with me 13, 14 years. I got operations manager for I think over 17. Just everybody really believes in what we're doing. It's not just kind of a 9 to 5 coming into a job, and that's what it is. Which is kind of why we had last weekend we had production in on Saturday. They took off Sunday, and then they were back in there on Monday and stuff. And that's just to make sure that we're hitting deadlines and we don't let anybody down. So it was an easy switch to kind of go on the on-demand shirt side and hit into the racing world and try to give back in that way. And honestly, I've been having a lot of fun with it. And it's selfishly enjoyable for me and my team to kind of give back to the stuff that I really enjoyed, growing up. And, especially when you're younger and a teenager and thinking that you can make it in the racing world, even though you're a fraction of a percentage of the talent and what it takes to get there. It's honestly, that's kind of what we grow up and why we still are bit by the racing bug and love it.
And James, to talk about the operation right there, because I've seen it firsthand, and you guys do a tremendous job with videos and so forth. I mean, your team is just everything that they do, but I don't think folks really have an idea of what you have built there. This thing is just a massive, it is mass production, and you've got so many moving parts and pieces, and it's a constant fluid moving business, and that place is massive. You have to be really proud of what that has become, dude, because it is unbelievable to watch. I remember sitting back in awe, and I'm like, holy shit. Are you kidding me?
I really appreciate it. And if I'm being totally truthful, I very rarely take the time to back up. My parents tell me all the time, people I care about, like my girlfriend, back up and really look at what's there and what is built over all the years. But I think it's the competitive racer in me. I take the same approach to the business side, where it's always, hey, no, we can improve more. We can do this better. We can do that better. Right now, to your point, we're looking at more space because we were tapped out and opening up another department and division that is kind of just a force of nature in general that we need to tap into. So we're constantly growing and looking how we can improve no matter what it is. So the operations, I wish I could say I want to go back to 5 days a week and stay sane and get back to racing a little bit more and doing some of that. But really it's the people that drive us, and we want to keep growing and be known for a quality product and getting stuff done on time.
Absolutely.
So
see, Rodney, James and I have something in common. We're both road runners. And so we're excited about this weekend's ass kicking that we're going to give the Bobcats in the Alamo Dome.
I don't know about that, guys.
I don't know. It's going to be a hell of a game. I can't wait. But talk about the stuff that you learned back then, right? It's like college only teaches you so much, and then you get the real world bumps. But talk about that transition going from being a road runner to being a business owner.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wish I could say, I love the college, but I wish I could say that, man, my whole career, it was just, I learned everything I needed to. I got out and it was awesome. Right. I could probably say I had 3 or 4 professors, like from an entrepreneurship class, stuff like that would really kind of enlighten me, that I still remember some things to this day. Other than that, it's been experience and painful. I mean, it's just the part that people don't see in the growth and the expansions and the late nights and the freaking out if you can make payroll early on, and just a lot of these things. It's a pathway that you got to have some thick skin for sure. But it's also, I mean, if you're able to push through it and you believe in it, I don't think it's as painful as what the reality of it is, because we just lie to ourselves and say, no, just it's around the corner or whatever it may be, that next goal. So if you're passionate about it, I don't think it's as painful on a daily basis than, just grinding out as any business owners. But it is a tough thing. Like I said, I still believe in school. I think things have changed a lot. Trades have really come back in a strong way that I feel like, depending on what you want to do, is the path that you should take. And I think school is still important to a certain degree on the higher level, the college. But it's I think, in my opinion, I think you could kind of cram in from some business owners if they wanted to do that in a 2-year program type deal. In general. Not that I don't love UTSA, I do. But just the experience at that time.
That's a really great point, James, because I talk about this all the time, when I'm talking to kiddos, to where it's like, I know I have a lot of friends and colleagues with degrees or whatever, but I've got a lot of friends also that are plumbers, electricians, all these different things, and they're making a hell of a lot more money and a much better living than some of those other folks. But that's, again, like Bobby said, that's.
Yeah, but I can tell you right now, even on us, a lot of people just see the shop and see all that stuff. Like, what the reality is that everything we touch, we actually have like 6 or 7 internal departments, depending on what decoration methods there are, and e-commerce and Shopify backed up. And so all that stuff going through there's so many touch points, high labor and a high customization. It's not like Amazon where you're pulling product off the shelf and shipping it out. You have your margin. It is what it is. So I laugh about it. It's a great point that you made, and I laugh about it because one of my great friends is Joe Armandia, and they come from the plumbing world. And I'm like, they're going to make more money than I probably will in a lifetime, right? But what I mean is just the plumbing, AC, there's a lot of those trades. There's really good money in it, and that's why I think they're coming back. Because before, like as us growing up, I mean, it was one of those things where it's like, oh no, you don't want to do that. That's beneath you. And which I never understood that. But that's kind of like, oh, it's hard work. This is what it is. But it's now we have this massive shortage for it. And then with everything with AI coming in, there's just so much more focus on the things that do need to be hand-on and what we're going to need in the future.
Yeah, great point.
So give us the process of how it works. So if they go to support or sales at ondemandshirts.com, let's say, it's a little different for Rodney and I to work with you with our stuff because, we're on a little different level. But if somebody's sitting there and they want to get Joe Blow Racing back up and running and have T-shirts, how do they start? Is it just an email? And then what happens after they get the email?
Yeah, I mean, it just really depends on what they want. Because again, we offer a wide variety of products, and now we've kind of partnered up with a lot of people like Austin Witch with RUSS race gear and different people that have a lot of wide range of product in terms of us in-house, with whether it be koozies or hats or driver's bags or shirts, whatever it may be. Depends on if they want to design for like a full-blown race design, which will take anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks to 4 weeks, depending on the time frame from start of concept to actually shirts to your door. And it really depends. So we kind of guided people through the process. Some people just want simplistic stuff. If it's a corporate thing, they have their logo. We can set it up on proofs. Hey, I want this style shirt. I want embroidery on a polo. We can show them all types of products through the board. So we kind of have service reps that behind the scenes will kind of, depending on what you want. That's where I say about the customization part is people ask all the time, well, how do you do this? And it's not really step 1, 2, and 3, right? It's what do you need? And then we go down whatever path that they need. Because it's very specific to them. Even the racers, I mean, they're going to want their car at a certain angle. They want to see that rivet in that certain spot. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into it. So there's not really a template that you say, okay, well, here you go. Let's place this order. But we do try to take a lot of the pain out of it, so people don't have to, worry about, well, did I cover all this? Do I do all these things? And then we really push hard on when you get your art proof, especially on the full blown designs. Push back. I don't care if it's the smallest detail. We want you to look at that shirt every day and be like, man, I love that thing. I mean, its quality is a big deal to us. So that's kind of the process, but there's a little bit of process difference between, each decoration method, but really the service people that we have behind the scenes are second to none. And that they'll spend whatever time it takes to kind of go through it with you guys or with anybody that
Right. James, I think one of the biggest things with the on-demand shirt side and with the racers and, all of us that are your customers, that are your partners, with apparel, I'm going to kind of speak for you here. Feel free to tell me if I'm wrong, but it seems like you guys take a lot of pride in the sense that Joe Blow Racer, that they actually get an opportunity to have apparel with their car, with their brand, with whatever it is, to where in the past it was like, I mean, when I raced that, I could have never had that. I mean, but I think you guys give folks an opportunity to where it's an affordable way to, whether you're going to give it away, you're going to sell it, whatever you're doing, that shit with your name on it. And that's pretty powerful right there.
Yeah, the biggest thing that's changed is like the way that we can go about decoration, right? So like when we go into these full blown, 8, 9, 10, 11 color designs on the back and stuff, it is really difficult to just print one of those shirts, right? Mm-hmm. You spend so much time in it, and then you may have 2.5 hours setting it up on the machine with the right inks and the right stuff going through there. So we kind of have to watch how we can do those things. That being said, that's a full blown to the max detail. If you want 150 or more stuff that we want to do, you can do anything you want, specialty colors, neons, metallics, whatever. If the everyday racer that just says, hey, look, I want it for me and my team, because to your point, and I know it sounds crazy, I've owned this business for over 20 years, but yet I didn't have racing stuff until probably the last 10. And even then, I think I had one shirt when we just did it when I was doing the Lucas Oil stuff in 2009 or 10. And not until I came back again. So even me, I mean, it was one of those things. It was very difficult. They didn't have, what we have now, which from the digital type printing, to where it's more expensive on one at a time, but we can do one at a time. I think we did some of that stuff with yours, Bobby, to where it's phenomenal stuff. It gets so much great detail. And even if it's a, $4 or $5 higher price point, you can buy 5 at a time. You can buy 12 at a time. Going through there, and we can keep it down. So maybe you just want your car name. And that's what honestly, my first shirts, that's what it was. It was a one color, had my number on it with my signature. And I was the happiest. I mean, my dad surprised me. We probably had 2 dozen or something. And it was super exciting. So we try to hit whatever level it is. And we all start somewhere, and we're doing stuff all the way down from a entry level driver that really wants to get something or help with their sponsors. That's what we try to encourage people is, and get the sponsors on there. And most of the time, that's what's going to build it. They want to see that shirt, and that you're going to recognize them, not just on the car's at the track, but the shirt goes everywhere. They're going to see it at HEB. They're going to see it all over the place. And so it just helps build their sponsorship with that, driver too, to where they just keep building upon it. And you can get to that higher tier, at some point, whether it's you wanted to race a modified and have a ton of shirts, or all the way up to World Outlaws and have a merch trailer. You really got to present yourself, well.
And James, that's I'm sorry, Bobby. James, that's kind of one of the things too, to where it's like I caught a lot of grief, especially with the dirty air ones when y'all did the dirty air ones for me, to where it's like I would go somewhere, and if it's like you need to wear a polo, I'd wear a dirty air polo, and it's got my name, and they're like, "Well, you're awful fucking proud of yourself, aren't you?" Yes, I am.
Yeah, you should be. You absolutely should be. I mean, that's the whole point of being passionate about what you're about, right? Exactly. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that at all.
I know the feeling. That's with my own merch. I posted it on Facebook last night and been getting blown up with people I had no idea would be like, "Hey, how do I get one of those shirts?" So that's been a good thing, right? So that's whether I didn't have a huge order, I didn't have a small order, didn't have a huge order, but you're right, it was custom tailored to fit what I needed. So
no, and honestly, like on that stuff too, we are close. We're within a couple of weeks of having we're revamping the entire website to be a lot more user friendly. We kind of learned from some of the designer and some of the other things that just became complicated, because most people want to do stuff from their phone, and that changes the experience versus doing it from a computer. So we're kind of adapting a lot of that stuff. But along with that, there's going to be a full-blown driver store. So any of the people that you guys see that we represent, that we go through, so even like Dalton Faulkner, Whitaker, like we're going to have all that stuff to where you can order online. We can either print if it's not in stock then, or pull off the shelf and go. They will also have theirs, that they can sell at their trailers. But we're starting to understand is, especially South Texas more, big races are different, but a lot of the races are having a hard time really getting the shirts out there to get exposed, because people just don't go in the pits anymore. And so what I underrated was when we got the Stims trailer, it was really about promoting Stims and really getting it on another level and showing people we're serious. And we really want to, they're expensive cars, and we know that people put a lot of money towards them, and we wanted them to know that we were serious too. But the after effect with the ODS side and the shirts and stuff, it just takes it to a whole nother level that people are so impressed with it across the board. And I just undervalued that going into it when we purchased it. So it's been a pleasant surprise, and it's helped out some tracks and get some more exposure. And even at Texana, when you were there, the shootout, I mean, I think we near sold out of the shootout shirts, and that was having a 3-day show turn into one. So there's just some really cool stuff about it that I think that we're learning from. But the point to that is that the driver store will definitely have the link to y'all stuff on there as well. to where, if anybody orders something, we can kind of print on demand, and we have our whole system that's backed up to all the stores. Like I said, we already use e-commerce for and digital integrations for our decoration process on the corporate side. So it's easy for us to leverage it for the racing stuff like this, to throw up a quick store and do our pre-sales and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Last one for me, James. I'm glad you mentioned stems. Kind of talk about that, man. That's you guys have gotten more involved. You know, in 2025 is moving forward with this, but the stem series. I mean, that's great for South Texas. I mean, because like you really look at this. I mean, we just had King of the Hill this past weekend in Louisiana, and you look at that, and it's divided. I mean, South Texas, we're kind of our own thing right here. But when it comes to the modifieds, you guys have jumped in as title sponsor there. Talk about the success of that, man. You hit those tracks. It's kind of like those old Romco days where you get to travel around a little bit, but doing some really good stuff with that.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's been really good in the sense that as we've gotten races in, even though we've had rainouts, the shows that we have been to, the drivers that are part of the series are phenomenal. They put on really, really great racing. Really clean racing, and put on a fantastic show for whether it be Race On that's filming it or the tracks that we're going to. And so because of that, the races that we did get in this year, we have so much interest from a lot of tracks, across the state, really, that I think that we're going to be able to put together a really, really good 2026 season. I think that we'll be able to kind of plan out our schedule a little bit better going into this year, being kind of the second year, but we were new owners in this situation. People wanted to see, hey, what are these guys about? And I get that completely. And I think that we did a fairly decent job at running it out this year, trying to step up things in different ways and trying to provide more money and guarantee, certain purses to get up there higher for what they truly deserve to race for. And I think that we'll be able to do it even better next year. We actually, because we had some rainouts and different things, the last rainout at Cotton Bowl, Marianne and H really wanted to get us rescheduled. We tried to work everything we could, but it really came down to the points championship, and we could not tell guys on a date that we didn't have initially scheduled, hey, we're going to do this, and then points guys couldn't make it. We just didn't think it was fair. So we kind of worked out plan B, and this will be the first time that anybody's hearing it. But we are going to have stems on the Oktoberfest schedule for the Saturday night show. And we've been able to secure a couple more sponsors to make the show on Saturday only $250 to start and $2,500 to win. So it'll be a good payout all the way. It's guaranteed. It doesn't matter the car count. We really want to try to pull as many cars as we can. Hopefully Cannondale, Heart of Texas, that time of year they're not running. Cotton Bowl is an amazing facility. We really want them to see what we're about and how we run things, and get them excited for next year in general, and healthy purses that we can do that. I got to say that the biggest reason and part of some of this that happened was Sundowners Diesel, all the Dinsmore family, they really stepped up in a big way to help put some money towards this race to bump that up. Race On, and then On Demand Shirts is putting in some money as well. So without that group and stuff, we wouldn't be able to jump it up that high. But I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be an awesome show, and we'll have some flyers coming out in the next couple of days or so to kind of show everybody what it is and start promoting it. But we're excited about it, and I think that the series is really going to gain a lot of traction. We have a lot of ideas of how to continue to make these drivers, more heroes, continue to try to get the grandstands to interact with those drivers. Yeah. I think it's been really good. We've been doing stuff to where we can do out-of-car introductions, give the guys stem shirts to throw up in the stands when they get announced. It's just these little touches, and we're just experimenting as we go. At 37, we had some of those light-up boomsticks out there in the crowds and doing different things. And so we have some ideas of other stuff that we're going to do in the future. So we're excited about it. I think it's looking bright for 26, and I think it's going to grow to where we'll have B mains everywhere we go.
So that'll be October 18th, probably
the 11th. Weekend before
11th.
Yeah, the 11th.
Yeah. And actually, we actually have a couple. If you're okay, I'll run through it real quick. But a couple of bigger dates that we got that we're going to be a part of. We're actually just a sponsor of the Mod Wars coming up here in Waco. 2 weeks and stuff. So we'll be out there. One of the guys that we sponsor and work with, Jake Tim, with the World of Outlaws driver, he's bringing down his modified to run in that. So we're going to kind of hang out there. I had to be out of town. Otherwise we would have, for the first part of it, we would have brought the trailer in. So we're kind of locked that down for next year, but we will be there and represented. Then the next thing is October 2nd through 4th. We'll be at the SuperTech 600. We're doing all the shirts and everything for that. I think actually we're excited. I think Lawrence is going to get an enduro car so we can kind of flip roles. And I can hopefully help him out with that process and just have a good time. But we will be there with the trailer, and we help sponsor that event as well. We actually have the design that's getting wrapped up in the next week or two. So we'll be able to release that also. And then, of course, Oktoberfest after that. And then we have like a veteran show, and then we'll be at the Race Ranch for the 2 big IES shows, being the shootout for the big limited mod stuff, and then the Sparkling City Classic at the end of the year. So we still got a decently packed end of the year as we roll out. So it should be a lot of fun.
Well, James, before we let you go, on behalf of Rodney and myself, we just want to say thank you for all the support for the show. You make two guys that don't look good, and that's a good thing to happen. So from the Dirty Air shirts to the RUSS merch to my Showtime merch, we appreciate everything you do for the show, and we don't want you to know that it doesn't go unappreciated. And we support you everywhere we can, and nothing but the best of hope for you coming up in the future. So
yeah, I really appreciate it, guys, and we're always. We just feel privileged to be a partner of the show and what you guys do every week in and week out, just trying to keep racing alive and people excited about it. So, anything we can do for you guys, we're happy to do. Appreciate you guys too.
So when are you going to race again? Now that you're back in victory lane.
Yeah, actually, Lawrence was texting me earlier, and I don't know if he's joking or not. And I just haven't been able to get back. I've been working up until I got to get on this call. So I'm not really sure, but the plan wasn't until Oktoberfest, actually, because I have to fly to town for the contract side of the business, 2 different places the next couple of weeks. So it's a little hectic, but you never know. It may be a last minute. Who knows? We'll go out there. Actually, this last weekend, I wasn't planning on either. I was going to stay and work with the guys, and woke up Saturday morning and Lawrence said, "Hey, the car's ready if you want to come." And I took it as a little bit of a sign and looked over and told Christina, "Let's go." And we just hit the road. And now I'm glad we did. but yeah, so we might be there, but for sure Oktoberfest if I don't make anything in between.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it. I might see you at that one. I'm actually home that weekend, so hoping to get out there. All right, my man. Thank you for everything. We appreciate you, and keep doing it, man. ODS, only way to go, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, take care. There he goes, James Cole. One hell of a business that he has right there, and as you can listen to him, just a good guy, man. Just a good guy. He's passionate. When he talks about passion, man, there is no doubt about what James Cole does.
Yeah, like we said, one of the nice guys in racing, and that's a good thing. It's a good thing to have a partner like that to help our show, because without him, we definitely wouldn't have some of the stuff we have now to help the show grow. So
yeah,
it's good to be partnered with good people.
And these things are really tools. I mean, these are tools of what they do. I mean, like I mentioned there, I mean, yeah, it's really cool to see your name on a t-shirt or whatever, or a polo or a cap or whatever the case is. But it's something that, I mean, you look at it now, you really have to have something like this to do business. And with racing, I mean, even if getting a small sponsorship, if you give somebody a few t-shirts and some caps and all of that, and it helps you get, $500, $1,000 in your pocket. I mean, that's tires, that's fuel. I mean, that really helps you out. And that's the one thing about it is, and I can't wait till they get the new website up and so forth, because you go look at the number of people that, and I'll be very candid with you, the number of people that they help. I mean, we're all clients and customers of On Demand Shirts, but they're helping us because they're not breaking the bank on our stuff is kind of what I mean by that.
Yeah, I'm waiting because I have some people that wanted extra large sizes that I didn't have in stock, and so I'm waiting for the store so that I can get some people. They want some of them great big boy sizes that I just didn't have. So yeah, we'll see how that works. So
our racing buddies are a little thicker.
Yeah. I didn't realize they wanted quite that large a shirt, or else I would have tried to order it in the beginning. But
yeah. So some of the ladies that walk up sometime, and I'm like, oh shit. Well, can you wear a large? Wear it for a nightgown or something like that. Hey, this is hell. It's on demand shirts hump day. Let's give you a look at what On Demand Shirts does.
You've probably seen us all over the racing world and doing a lot of racing designs for events and race teams, but we also do a lot of stuff from small boutiques in small cities all the way up to Fortune 500 companies. Your brand deserves to be seen. We print on more than just shirts, hats, jackets, bags, and much, much more. Custom corporate branding starts here.
There it is, and that's just a small look. It's a small look. If you happen to know James, get him. Go in there and look at that place.
I think the
Go
next time
look
I'm
at
off, I'm gonna head to San Antonio. I think I'm gonna try to go down there and check it out.
I got to tell you, the first time that I went over there, so he gives me the address. I go rolling up in there, and so I walk into the first door, and I'm like, I'm here to see James Cole, and they knew I was coming. They're like, "Hello, Rodney." I'm like, "Oh, okay, hi," well, whatever. and I said, "Where's James?" And they said, "He's not at that door or that door, that door or that door. He's at that door." I'm like, "Holy shit." I thought you had I knew the operation was big. I didn't quite know it was that big, but yeah, super good stuff right there. On-demand shirts. Be sure and check them out. So moving forward, well, you mentioned the Cars Tour right there. Landon Lewis and Keelan Harvick win this past weekend at Florence. Florence does a really smart thing. I heard this on SiriusXM. I didn't realize this. It did a lot of driving for me this weekend, where I didn't realize how smart they are to schedule Florence on Darlington weekend.
It's beautiful, and it's not that far. It's really not that far from Florence to Darlington at all. It's a hop, skip, and a jump from track to track, so it makes sense because they run there, on Friday night or Friday and Saturday to get it all in. And yeah, it's perfect. Coming up, and then they run that big South Carolina 400 coming up there in a couple of months too. So good, cool little racetrack. Driven by there. Hadn't been to a race there, driven by there, but it's cool. It's a cool little joint right there.
Yep, absolutely. King of the Hill this past weekend, we kind of touched on that. Cody Smith. That's where, when I see these races, I'm like, okay. And Cody Smith is actually one of the guys that, when you're putting your list together of who's going to win these big factory stock races up north, and like we talked about, I'm glad that James kind of mentioned that, because that's really what I'm seeing, to where it's now, with a lot of the coverage and so forth and everything with factory stocks and the different racing in Texas, South Texas is really in its own little playground. I mean, it's like South Texas gets left out. And I think we need to make a better effort to include them. So probably something that we'll do moving forward, because they get left out of, it's like the one kid that don't get invited to the party. It's like, come on, what about South Texas? I know Johnny Torres is in Boone, but come on.
I mean, that's why you have to invite everybody.
Well,
that's why I had to get That's why I had to get the Valentine's card for everybody back in the day.
You got to go. I guess that's the other part.
That's the other part too.
That's the other part. I may be making up excuses for something that doesn't exist. Cody Smith, Mark Underwood Jr., Justin Whitehead, Dustin Hennigan, and Jeffrey Abbey, 1 through 5. And
Underwood almost went back to back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So you've got that one, and that's just one of several now as we get towards the latter stages. I was thinking about this the other day. So remember where it's like Labor Day, after Labor Day, we went back to school when I was a kid, way back when we used Big Chief tablets and pencils. We would go back to school after Labor Day, and racing season was done.
Yeah, Memorial Day to Labor Day. Remember when they first wanted to do Oktoberfest? Everybody thought they were crazy racing all the way into October in San Antonio.
It was like that was it, because I remember, like, Dad, he would so we'd get done and it's time to go back to school or whatever, and he'd go with Palace to the snowball, because the snowball has always been when it is. And I'm like, what? They're having a race in December and in Florida? And now it's like, shit. Now we're just cranking up. I mean, now we're getting to the meat of the schedule, when the point championships and track championships, all that shit's done. That's irrelevant at this point. Now it's time to go big money.
That's time for the big money. Time to get your revenge and time to get your big check.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, by the way, does your other deal start at 8?
Yeah. I've got it over here. So
okay.
I can kind of work with it.
Pay more attention tonight than you did last night.
Yeah. Dude, I got a good grade. I got a good grade in that one. So, like I said, y'all don't need to know my grade. I got a good grade for once, because
it said I was going to be a B+ and was projected to finish 11th out of 12. But we'll see. I usually don't finish that far down.
Yeah. Coming up this weekend, Mobile, the Outlaw 100. As you see,
be good.
Yeah, you can't really see it, but that's Cody Brusso had sent us that a long time ago. It's the Cody's the butt side of Cody's car, with a revved up thing there. I should have moved the camera around, but kind of why I pulled that up. Yeah, the Outlaw 100. And get this, Mobile sprint cars. Holy shit.
Ooh.
Oh, man. You want to talk about sprint cars on pavement? Sprint cars at Mobile? High banks. Nope.
Words of in the words of Greg Davidson, WFO, right?
Oh my God, that is going to be. I'm glad that my responsibilities on Saturday are from 11 to about 3, because by the time that's over with, man, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to check out the World 100. I'm going to be checking out Mobile. Cordeal has the Speedfest Pro Late models, 125. So
that's on Racing America. Yeah,
you got that. New Smyrna Pro Late model twin 50s. Dude, we're just getting going. We're just getting going.
Yeah, just getting good. And then of course you got the big IMCA Nationals and
Boone.
Yeah, all kind of. I mean, there's all kind of racing still going on. You got the Winchester 400 coming up here in a couple of weeks. I mean, it's nonstop now.
Yeah,
there's certain events that can go head to head with college football. Not many.
Yeah, well, and the thing about it is that's where it gets to with these pavement races in the Southeast, because it's like, I mean, that's kind of one of the things that I really love about going to the Derby, is that you have to set aside some time on Saturday afternoon to go in that tent.
And
hopefully it's raining.
Yeah, hopefully they watch the SEC championship game.
Watch the SEC championship. Yeah, because that's where you get some of the, I mean, you get race fans fired up in the stands, but when you've got Georgia playing Tennessee or Georgia playing Alabama or whatever, it's like, and I haven't been there since Texas is in, the SEC. So that's one of the coolest things right there. I know the last time that I was there, I think it was, I forget who, Georgia and Alabama. Yeah, Georgia and Alabama, and it rained, and we had some friends that had a condo, and we went and watched that, and it's like, man, it can rain all at once. The last place we want to be is at the racetrack watching this stuff.
But then we went to the bar, and we thought
this was time after. This was the
time after. Oh,
yeah,
I thought about the time we went with the Duke.
Oh, I don't want to think about that time with you. No.
That bull owes me one. So does Kyle.
That was the credit card debacle. I'm not going down that road again. I'm not going down that road again. What we won't see anymore until 2026, until what, March?
Yeah,
IndyCar.
Yeah.
Why? It's way too early. Sorry.
And it won't be any better in 2026 with Fox owning it, because they're not going to want to go head to head with the NFL. So any hope of IndyCar ending season later than what it does now, no hope. With Fox owning a third, they're not going to go head to head against NFL football.
Man, and I'd love to see, I know the Arlington thing, I'm probably going to be a part of that with the company, but it's like, man, I would love to see them back at TMS. I know Pocono is scary, dangerous. Michigan, these tracks, I'd love, because the race on Sunday, was that Sunday? That was a good race. And it's just like, man, get them back on ovals. Let's race a little longer, just a little bit longer. It just shouldn't end that way, because like we talk about with short track season, I mean, NASCAR's kind of always run up through the end of October, November, but it's like, I think there's more time in there. But again, I know it costs a lot, but to put these events on, but I just wish that they could kind of stretch that season out just a little bit more, because they go totally irrelevant, because their big news was today.
That's right. The day after their race, or I guess 2 days after, a couple of days after the race now. And that's it.
Yeah.
That was the two dominoes right there. With Colton Herter going to F2, and then Will Power, I guess yesterday announcing he wasn't going to race for Penske anymore. And then today they announced he's taking over Colton Herter's seat in the 26. Well, should be number 26. I mean, like that's it. That was the two dominoes that needed to fall, and they fell 2 days after the damn season ended.
Yeah. Yeah. David Malukas to Penske. So that's settled. So,
well, still to be officially announced, but he's a Penske affiliated driver. So it's just,
that was kind of like that Connor Zillage thing, to where it's like, okay, but yeah, it's like nothing. There is nothing that's going to be talked about for IndyCar unless somebody passes away or something. I mean, there's no reason to discuss it at this point. I got to tell you what. So what do you think about the Colton Herta thing? Your true thoughts on him going to be a test driver?
Well, it's not only that he's going to be a test driver, he's going to run Formula 2 full time.
Right.
That, in theory, is a step down from the IndyCar series.
Agree.
In the hierarchy of motorsports. It does a couple of things. If he goes out and sets the world on fire, it makes IndyCar look really good. If he goes out and lays an egg, it makes IndyCar look really bad. Because he's one of the top stars in IndyCar. Does he win a lot? Not as much as everybody would, as much as he would like. He's not winning like Alex Palou's winning, but if he goes out and lays an egg, that looks bad for IndyCar.
Yeah.
Despite all the F2 guys that leave F2 because they don't get enough points or have enough money to go to F1, they come over here. So I just think that I think it's going to be a challenge. I was surprised by it, but it's all about that money. It's all about that Cadillac money, because the same guy that owns Cadillac owns part of Andretti Global. So,
and quite frankly, in my opinion, with the whole the driver lineup for Cadillac, I mean, I think Colton Herta's better than at least one of those guys. It's like, I mean, I don't know what the progression or how exactly you get to be a Formula One driver. I know
he's
it's not
5 points away.
Yeah. So
and those guys sign multiple year contracts.
Yeah. That's where it's like, I mean, to me, that whole situation right there is, look, I like Checo Perez. I think but where's he been? What's he been doing?
Getting paid for Red Bull for sitting on the couch for a year.
And Valtteri Bottas, I mean,
again, he's at least been a reserve driver for Mercedes.
Yeah. I can't outdrive either one of those guys, but it's like, I think that Colton Herta, but I get to where, and I think this goes back to IndyCar to exactly what we're talking about, to where I know IndyCar has the Fox contract, and Fox, you sent me some numbers that you can talk about here in just a minute about TV numbers. I think Fox did an admirable job of showcasing them with this, but I mean, it's just IndyCar just doesn't have, like we're talking about, that they're done. We are not going to talk about them until the middle of March. Nope. There's absolutely no reason to talk about them after today.
And the only reason we'll be talking about them is because they're going to have a doubleheader with the NASCAR trucks in St. Pete, unofficially. It hadn't been officially announced yet, but we'll be talking about that because NASCAR get a 3 or 4 week head start on them when they go to run St. Pete there in 2026 and at the end of February.
Yeah, absolutely. Our buddy Zach Clark checking in. We were talking about the South Texas thing, several good paying events for factory stocks, and with the pull-offs, yeah. Well, that's the thing. It and maybe I was speaking out of term when I say that, but it's like maybe I need to put it more on the onus of the drivers to travel and go do whatever. I think for the longest time for me, it was where I would look at those big events and I'm like, well, where's all the South Texas guys? Well, it probably is. They need to get their ass there. I guess. I mean, I don't know. That's there's a hell of a divide. There's a hell of a divide, and it's self-inflicted, I guess.
Yeah. So I got sidetracked with the I-35 rivalry thing, looking up the thing that you were telling me about here. Yeah. Fox coverage on IndyCar, the inaugural NTT IndyCar Series season, largest viewership game of any professional sports. 1.36 million average viewers on Fox and FS1, a 27% increase from 2024, and the most since the 2008 post-merger season, where IndyCar and CART finally decided to nip it in the bud and get it together. That's impressive. 27% growth. Most 2025 audience growth for any sport, averaging at least 1 million viewers. So that's been good. And it's the network coverage. What we have seen so far is that the two series that went exclusively network only, no cable, network TV only, have been kicking ass in ratings. One is IndyCar, one is the Xfinity series, soon to be the O'Reilly Autoport series. Their numbers have kicked ass all season. Only a couple of their races have gone less than 1 million, and that's because some of the major markets weren't showing the race like they should have on the CW. Here's the graphic that gets the stat that gets me the most about IndyCar, though. Massive lift in the coveted 18 to 34 demographic, plus 81%. The season also saw an increase in women viewers, with women between the ages of 18 and 34 at plus 72%. Those two numbers are massive. That's the coveted demographic for everybody, except for the NFL, because the NFL and now college doesn't really count. Every other sport's looking for 18 to 34.
See, and that's where when NASCAR went to Prime, I know the overall number went down, but those are the demographics on Prime where they just blew it out of the water. to where it was maybe only 3 million or 2 million, whatever it was. But that coveted demographic was the bulk of the viewership. And that really is, because those people are going to tell somebody, hey, turn this thing on. You're going to enjoy watching this or whatever. You said something right there with the growth of the Xfinity series, with the Busch series. To me, the fact that series, I mean, even though now, things are a little different the way I'm going to talk about that series, the fact that series is outdrawing IndyCar. And I know the
and
number,
it's not a shocker. It's
yeah,
weekly.
I know.
Except for the Indy 500, Indy is third fiddle. That's it.
Yeah. I know the numbers are exponential with the growth, but still there should be no reason. And I go back to, again, broken record, with that driver roster, that IndyCar should be outdrawn by the Xfinity series. But the Xfinity series is good racing. I mean, let's be honest with you. Let's be
more
honest
popular
here.
than Cup right now.
Yeah, it's a better car. It's a better product. It has superseded the trucks. I mean, to me, the trucks were the ones at the point, but when they put them, Ilmore engines in there, it kind of took away the pizzazz. That's the best racing car. They've got good personalities now in there. I mean, as much as I talk about the Busch Series bully, people tune in to watch that guy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then we keep hearing about the truck series going to kit cars in 2027. I don't know about that.
I don't know.
But there's not. But if you think about it, there's not another major partner that can come in unless they go to a smaller truck. There's because the Titan's out. You've got them off. You got all four major manufacturers in there now that they discontinued a Titan. You got the F-150. You've got the Chevy Silverado. You got the Dodge Ram, or I guess technically the Ram 1500, and then you got the Toyota. You got all four major pickup brands in the series. So I don't see them changing that. But apparently they want to change the chassis, making it more of a spec chassis like they did with the Cup cars, supposed to make it cheaper and easier to get into.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I keep hearing rumblings of it. I keep seeing rumblings of it, but I guess we'll find out midway through 2020, maybe even at Daytona, because if you're going to switch chassis, you got to start hearing about it pretty early.
Yeah, absolutely. So, BC, I need to walk away for 1 second. I need to go turn on a porch light right quick for something that's being dropped off. I'll be right back.
So we'll get back into more coverage here. Let's see if we can get in with some of the big news. Well, I wanted to get that with Rodney, get his take on the series in terms of one of the big breaking news in NASCAR super late model racing, so to speak. But let's look up the ratings here for the Xfinity series. Let's see here. See if it'll pull up here. Yep, that's horse racing. Yep, that's all horse racing stuff. So you never know. Right when we work on the fly, that's when we end up having everything not work out. Let's try TV ratings. So Formula One has 1.3 million viewers on the average. Here in 2025, a 7% increase from 2024. The average demographic they're looking for there is 18 to 49, which is representing a 24% increase in roughly 500,000 viewers there for Formula One. That's for 2025. Frontstretch.com. Let's see if they have this week's ratings out. If I can get the computer to cooperate here. Come on. No, this is all Cup stuff. Hang on.
Yeah. It really gets to where we're like with I really think that the move to the CW for the Xfinity series
has paid dividends.
Absolutely. And the whole thing is, look, we say it all the time, Bobby, there is no free TV, because if you're going to go over the air, you still got to get the antenna, the converter, whatever the hell that thing is called. But if you're going to, I cut the cord, and that was the thing, like we were talking about at the beginning of the show last week, or last week when my internet goes down, I'm like, shit, I can't watch TV. You know, if I'd have still had DirecTV or Bish Network or any of that stuff, I could have watched TV. I had power. But no, I guess that runs off internet too, doesn't it? No, I guess I wouldn't have. I guess I wouldn't have watched TV. Sorry, dogs are out of control. Here's something else I
mine
saw
was
today.
going. I'm trying to find the ratings for this weekend, but it's not working. So,
well, I saw this today, and I think here's something else where we were talking about that demographic that's so important, that is so important right now. Take a look at this, and I've thought about this so many different times when it comes to motorsports. The average race length this year in racing series, to where it's like people don't want to watch NASCAR. How much of that factors into that?
well, you can get so much more done during a NASCAR race because if it sucks, you can do other things. So, it may be an hour. It may be, and of course, Darlington was what, almost 4.5, 5 hours. It was a quicker Southern 500 because there wasn't as many cautions as there could have been. So yeah, I mean, when you're looking at 4 hours to watch a race, despite the average being 3 hours and 15 minutes, that for this generation and for this on-demand, lack of a better term for the night, demographics and way they have here, it's like, you got to have access now. That's a long attention span for 3 hours and 14 minutes.
The thing about it is, what's not going to change in there, as much as NASCAR changes stuff, because it was like, so when so many of the 500-mile races went to 400, it's like, okay, that's that put a lot of people in an uproar, but NASCAR's not going to change that. I mean, they're going to keep cup races, to me, and this is where it goes back to the Xfinity race, to the Xfinity series, to where it's like you may have if the cup race is a 400 miler. Let's just say TMS, for example.
You've got 500 to 400.
Yeah, you go to 400, and then the Xfinity race is 300, and people are like, well, that's only 100 miles, but that's an hour and a half. It's a very compact, depending. I mean, I think a lot of race fans, they don't care if a race drags out and you've got crashes and you've got different things happening that kind of keep you entertained. But when you have a tail whooping like you had the other night with Chase Briscoe, and by the way, Chase Briscoe might win the Cup championship, Bobby. That dude is flying. That dude is flaming right now.
He's coming on. He's hitting the stride at the right time.
Yeah, I think that Xfinity kind of falls into the time frame right there, that where it's like not as short as Formula One or IndyCar, but it's kind of just hovering right over 2 hours, 225, something like that. And I think that's the ideal number at this point, unless you're at the track. And that's where this is so different, because I would say that if I was going to go spectate a cup race and it was 2 hours and 20 minutes, I'd be disappointed, because I'm used to going there and spending 4 freaking hours sitting over there watching it live. So that's where it's like, you have to, I mean, you want to satisfy the on-site? Do you want to satisfy the end user that's watching the stuff on TV or streaming or whatever? Look at that. Look at what CW Wars said. I still have an antenna.
Well, out there where he lives, he don't have much choice with fiber.
Yeah, I remember, dude. It was like, so I'd go to my Uncle Martin's house and we'd stay out there and we would, to watch Monday Night Football or Monday Night Baseball, because back in those days you had 4 channels. Channel 7, 24, 36, and 18, which was
PBS.
PBS. And it was like we'd sit there and we'd want to watch Monday Night Football, and the wind would blow. It would start raining, and he'd like go out there and he'd be like turning the pole on the antenna. It's like, how's it looking from right outside the window? It's like, okay, that's good. Right there. Don't move it. Don't move it.
And he lets go and it moves. Yeah.
Dude,
they don't have ratings for Darlington up. They have the ratings for Daytona from 2 weeks ago.
What are those?
NBC, because the Daytona, the playoff closer, was on network NBC. A 1.76 rating and 3.297 million viewers. That's really not bad.
That's not bad on a Saturday night.
Not bad on a Saturday night. With some had some college football and a couple of NFL preseason games to go against.
Yeah.
Xfinity at Daytona, 1.092 million viewers. Viewership was up 33% over last summer's race, airing on the same weekend, but on network TV. Not a surprise there.
Well, the Sundays are over because Big Daddy starts tomorrow, and that's going to take over Sunday. When you have Sunday afternoon races and so forth and so on, I mean, the playoffs. I mean, maybe the finale will get a good number, but yeah, here they come.
Daddy's back, and nothing can be. And NASCAR knows that, and the networks know that.
Yeah. Here comes Vince McMahon with his grapefruits hanging out of his underwear. The NFL.
Did you see today the bad news about Red Zone?
Commercials, right?
Commercials on NFL Red Zone now. That kind of takes that away.
ESPN, man. ESPN. Yeah, that. Whatever. I knew it was going to be something. I wasn't absolutely sure what would happen that was kind of disrupt that. Is it going to be like small box? Is it going to be? Are they going to do something like this? Or
I don't know. I just said that they were going to end up having commercials on it. I'm like, well, all right. Well,
maybe even like that.
Yeah, like like they do. Did you get the full view of my dog in my man cave?
That's all right. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Man, I think we got it covered. Great conversation tonight.
We did miss one thing.
What's that?
The Hamke deal.
Oh, yeah.
Robbie Hamke is joining the team over at Port City Race Cars. That's big for super late model racing, and well, I guess late model racing as a whole, because now with this new GMS fabrication with Tony Erie Jr., who left Fury, that's some big news today.
Yeah. That's going to be a pretty big shift right there. And that's where, again, we talk about it with pavement super late model racing, to where it's like with UARA and ASA, to where all of that, the competition, it's just very whatever. But now when you have the shifting going on right there, that's where it's like a major that I look at that, and that's pretty much like when Ricky said, okay, I'm going on my own. I'm moving. I'm getting away from Tim Bryant. I mean, that's kind of, I mean, I may be over dramatizing that a little bit, but that's kind of the same thing.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. So all of that, and we still have, and I'm curious to see, because we still have, like you mentioned, Winchester. I mean, we still have a lot of big pavement racing to go. So let's see how that kind of culminates here leading up to the Derby. And we'll take you up to the Snowball Derby, because I don't care what anybody says. To me, the old pavement head, old asphalt, ASSFAULT guy that I am right here, to me, that's when my season ends. When we get to the Derby, I'm like, all right, I'm done for a little bit.
Ends with the Derby and starts with the Chili. Well, actually, this year we got the Sparkling City Classic in Corpus the weekend after. So,
yeah. Well, I'm super excited because this year, last year I got to go to the Dome. So the way everything plays itself out this year, you've got the Dome and then you got the Derby the next week, or vice versa. I don't think they're on the same weekend, or last year they were on the same weekend. So you'll get those broken up. So again, my two favorites at this point, the super late models, will have the opportunity, or I'll have the opportunity to.
I'm going to the Derby as long as UTSA doesn't make the championship game. So
wouldn't mind going to the Derby. Actually, kind of my thought for the Derby this year is, going to spectate, to kind of go and come back Sunday. It's one of those things to where people would always tell me when I'm down there, where it's like, okay, we're going to stay until Sunday morning and leave. They're going to leave when the Derby's going on. I'm kind of thinking that's what I may do if I go, unless they put me to work. No,
I mean, we've had to leave before the Derby went one time because it rained.
Yeah, well, and
that was the day they moved it to Monday, though.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Hoping to get down to Pensacola. Got a lot of people I want to go see. It's been a little bit since I've been over there. Great program. Thank you to James Cole for checking in, and not only for James Cole for checking in. I mean, James Cole for everything that he does, not only for Bobby and I, but for all of you people out there, because he makes you people look really good. He makes you people look really good. Not he and his team. because that's the one thing that James always talks about. And it is a very collaborative effort that they have over there. His business manager, his all of that. I mean, they are just, it is a very buttoned up organization that they have right there. I highly recommend. Talk to James, schedule a tour, go see what they do, because they make it look really, really cool.
Yeah, no, it looks cool in the video. So maybe the next time I have a free afternoon off, I will. I should have done it this week, but when I had the whole week off last week. So
there you go. There you go. All right, friends, we'll do it again. I kind of like Wednesday. I know this show is like ever changing, but anyway, we'll do it again next week. Just be sure and check out the socials, and
be Tuesday or Wednesday.
Tuesday or Wednesday.
Tuesday or Wednesday, yeah.
Tuesday or Wednesday. So you've got football, I've got football, and the in between is plenty of racing. And we invite you as well to find a racetrack or find a streamer that's going to have some racing on for you.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm picking a bird win in the Dome. It going to be close, but it ain't going to be the ass whooping than it was last year. Check it out on ESPN Plus. UTSA plays Texas State, the best G5 rivalry in the state of Texas, and one of the best G5 rivalries in the whole country, in my opinion.
Tarleton State, bitches. Tarleton State. Former donor to that place. But
That's
now
right.
my work is done. I'm no longer a donor, but I still am very proud of them. Although that Army team's probably going to win 2 games this year, but whatever.
Yeah. We get them at home in the Dome, so
doesn't matter.
Thanksgiving weekend.
Does not matter. If you guys missed the news, James Cole talked about it here. October 11th, you will have Stems at Oktoberfest at Cotton Bowl Speedway. And again, a big shout out to Cotton Bowl Speedway. That's, I guess that would be our hometown racetrack when it comes to proximity for us. Marianne and H.E. Nauman, the incredible staff there, putting on a great program. I think that's going to cap off a weekend of just some really good fun. You got the dirt trucks. You've got a lot. It's going to be
a lot of stuff happening in Oktoberfest.
And stems at that place. Whew. That's a stems track. That's a stems track right
That's
there.
right. Wide open.
Yep, absolutely. All right, we'll do it again next week. On Demand Shirts, the proud presenter of this program, along with audiovisual consultations. Be sure and check out all those folks and help them out. Help them help you. We'll get out of here with a word from On Demand Shirts. See you guys next week.
Precision, consistency. Just like in racing, these are our values in screen printing, embroidery, and everything in between. If it's branded, we can do it.